What's up, guys? This is your boy Christopher Joe, and today we were talking about the Steam Deck, the 64 gigabyte version. This is the version that I have. Do you guys like the color? Well, guess what, my fellow Steam Deckians? I don't believe that the 64 gigabyte is worth it. Now, I am not here to bash the Steam Deck. I know I said a lot of bad things about it, but trust me, I love the Steam Deck. I actually play it more than my PS5, like, to be honest, like, all jokes aside. I really love the Steam Deck, but I'm not going to steer my fellow Steam Deckians in the wrong way and not tell them how I truly feel about a 64 gigabyte version. Now, my first thing that I've noticed about a 64 gigabyte version is that you won't really truly see that without an SD card, because there are already files on your Steam Deck as far as like Proton files to keep your Steam Deck up to date. I just looked at my Steam Deck, right? No lie, I'm not lying to you guys. There's about 23 gigabytes left, right, on my Steam Deck. Now, I do have an SD card, but let's get into this. When I first got my Steam Deck, I really only got it to play big games like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption or like Star Wars Jedi Knight. But when I got it and I realized that those games were like really big, I'm like, oh my God, there's no space. So I stuck to emulation, which was a lot better on saving space, playing old Nintendo games, PlayStation 2 games, because the emulators on the Steam Deck run really nice. So I stuck to pretty much that. If I did have a game, I had like maybe a game like Hades, smaller games like that, not really the AAA games that you pretty much see on game systems these days. But as time went by, I'm like, okay, I really want to start playing more games, because I'm not saying I got tired of emulating, but I got tired of emulating. And then I looked at the Steam sales. The Steam sales are freaking amazing. Like, the deals that they have on their AAA games, perfect. Like, you can go down a rabbit hole. I already have like maybe over 30 games, but on my Steam Deck with my SD card, I'm lucky to even play like maybe 2 or 3 games at one time. Lucky if I have like 3 of a game that I really want to play. I'm talking about like AAA games. Some of these games like Grand Theft Auto, takes up majority of my SD card. I have a 256 gigabyte SD card, and Grand Theft Auto takes up 100 gigabytes. Then I have like ROMs or my emulators. So even if I delete all of my ROMs, I still am stuck with only a little bit of space left. So now I'm stuck looking for a 1 terabyte SD card, which, let's say I've looked, maybe runs you around 120 up to like 150, especially if you're looking for one that you know is going to work, one that's reliable. So I'm thinking like, wow, the 64 gigabyte Steam Deck is about $399. Let's say plus tax about $420, because you know Uncle Sam, he's gonna take his half, or he's gonna knock on your door. That's gonna run you about $540 if I can count correctly. You might as well get the 256 gigabyte. Now, in retrospect, I probably just would have went that route. But let's just stay with the 64 gigabyte Steam Deck for now, because that's what we're stuck with, right? So we have options. We have options of getting a SD card, 1 terabyte at the most, because if you're a gamer like me, that's probably still not going to be enough. Like, it might be for some, even a 64 gigabyte, depending on what you're doing. If you're just gonna, no, I'm not. I can't even say that. I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You're gonna need an SD card. There's no way that you're gonna have a 64 gigabyte Steam Deck and not get any kind of SD card. It's not even gonna happen. Okay, so looking at the 256 gigabyte Steam Deck, which is cool, you know, it has more space, but you probably might need more storage. Like, I was talking to my brother and he texted me. He has a 256 gigabyte version. He's like, hey bro, I need a new SD card. I'm like, what do you mean? I have a 64 gigabyte. I want your version. He's like, I need a 1 terabyte. I'm like, bro, I need a 1 terabyte. So he loves gaming just as much as me. And if you love gaming just as much as us, you're probably thinking like, yeah, that 1 terabyte is probably needed. So let's look at the price of the 256 gigabyte. Man, I might need an SD card, which still runs you about like 120 to 150 on top of the price of the Steam Deck. You might as well look at the top tier Steam Deck, right? You might as well get the $512 and 12 GB Steam Deck. You get a carrying case, you get an anti-glare screen, you can play it outside, and you get a custom keyboard, right? Why not? But since we have the 64 GB, we're just gonna stay in the options that we have. So your option A is to get bigger SD card. In this case, we're talking about the 1 TB or SSD. You can actually add way more storage than 1 TB. I've seen up to 5 actually. Now the thing about SSD is it's a very tedious job. Not a lot of people might be comfortable doing that. I pretty much am, because I'm used to doing stuff like that. So that's definitely an option that I'm looking into right now. It might be a bit pricey, but in the long run, it's definitely, most definitely worth it, because I just love gaming that much. I love my Steam Deck that much. I don't even play my PS5 no more, which basically has most of the games that I really like to play. It's just something about the Steam Deck. I just love handheld games that much. So long story short, the 64 GB as it is, to me, no, I probably still wouldn't have gone that route. Even though you have options to save, I probably would have just got the one right above it, which is what, the 256 GB? That's just my opinion, but I personally would not recommend getting the 64 GB. It's just something about having that storage on your Steam Decks that makes a big difference, because there are some games, from my experience, runs a lot better on the Steam Deck as opposed to putting it on your SD card, which is why I'm already thinking about just upgrading my SSD. I don't even know if it was a warranty, so don't just follow my words and just do it. I would definitely research that. I just wanted to give you guys some retrospect of my experience with the 64 GB Steam Deck. If you guys have anything to add, let me know in the comments. What version Steam Deck do you have, or your experience with the storage on here? And with that being said, I hope you guys are having a happy new year, being safe, staying blessed, and staying woke. And on that note, adios. Peace.